Y'all have any idea how obscene the amount of money the NFL is making every year is? They just announced the salary cap for the 2024 season. And for y'all that don't know, there's a big convoluted formula in how they come up with a number each year. And we'll get to that in a second. But they basically said each and every NFL team can now go out and spend $255.4 million on salary for one season across their roster. Now remember, there are 32 teams in the NFL, so quick math tells you that's over $8 billion that are going to player salary just for the 2024 season. And when you know the formula that it really comes into when they're talking about ticket sales, merchandising, gambling money, TV deals, all of those sorts of things, they only give portions of that towards the player salaries. It's like 48% of what they call all revenue, even though it's not all revenue, because there are some things that they kind of earmark that they don't allow to go into those calculations. So it's not even a true representation. But when you reverse engineer that $8+ billion, just for this portion that they're considering for salaries, the league made over $17 billion, and this is a low estimate, $17 billion in 2023. So when y'all are siding with the ownership and saying this player doesn't deserve to get this much money and all this kind of stuff, just know how ridiculous you sound, because again, the league made at least $17 billion in 2023, and none of it happens if it weren't for the players. Now, you want to turn around and talk about how that affects the Dallas Cowboys? Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones must be doing cartwheels, because before today's announcement, the assumption was that the NFL salary cap was going to be, give or take, around $242.5 million this year. And when that was the case, the Cowboys were looking to be around $16 to $17 million over the cap. So let's walk through this a little bit. First, by taking a look at how this impacts their situation with Dak Prescott. So Prescott has basically a huge cap number this year, and he has all of the leverage in the world. He has a no trade clause, he has a no franchise tag clause after this season, the final year of his contract that he signed back in 2020, right? So $59+ million is how much he's taken up of their salary cap. And that really should be the impetus for the Cowboys getting to the negotiation table and making sure that they don't have to carry that big of a number into the 2024 season. But what this news does, the additional $13 million into the cap, it basically gives the Cowboys the ability to carry Dak Prescott's number and still make moves in the offseason to improve their team. Before, it was kind of like, oh, well, you're $16, $17 million over the cap. You have a bunch of things that you can do, but really the best thing that you're going to be able to do is to reduce Dak Prescott's number. You give him an extension, a multi-year extension. Basically, it'll be for more than what his annual salary is, but the way it's structured with signing bonuses and things like that, the cap number for this year would actually go down, even though he would be making a lot more than $60 million in the check between the signing bonus and the first year's salary. The way NFL accounting does, that allows you to spread it out over multiple years, right? So the big thing would have been to be able to restructure Dak Prescott or extend Dak Prescott and lower that number. That was kind of the negotiating side, because the Cowboys were so far over the cap that even with the other moves, if they wanted to be real players and go all in, as Jerry Jones calls it, they would have had to do something along those lines, right? Not so much anymore. The Cowboys have the ability to stack money without touching Dak Prescott's contract. So if they get to a stalemate and they're not trying to give Dak the kind of numbers that he's looking for, they literally have the ability to say, you know what, we tried, we're going to ride this year out and then see what happens. We're still going to go out and be able to improve the team, sign a free agent. They probably won't. They say they will, but we'll see whether that happens. And then still build the team towards hopefully a better competitive team in 2024. They can June 1st Michael Gallup, save $8.5 million. They can extend Zach Martin, probably save up to $10 million. They can restructure Trevon Diggs, which is already on the cards, save another $8 million. They can extend CeeDee Lamb from his fifth-year cap hit of $17+ million, probably save around $11 million there. They could even give Tank Lawrence another season on his contract, do some restructuring, save another $6 million. So you add all of that up together, and you're talking about $40+ million of space that they can create without touching Dak's contract. So that means that whatever way they want to proceed with this, whether it's, and we talked about it in the video, the 6 different ways that they could approach the Dak Prescott contract over the course of the season. They can June 1st him, not going to happen. They can trade him, not going to happen. He would have to waive his no trade clause. Possible if, they tell him that they want to trade him and he doesn't feel wanted, maybe they do that. But these options are still on the table, including letting him play this out, adding some fake, restructure void years onto the contract, and even doing the Drew Brees extension, which is where they say, okay, we can't come up with a multi-year agreement. Let's tack on another year, give you some guaranteed money for this year, next year, and then maybe we have a little bit more to play with and we revisit this later on down the line. All of those options, including the most likely scenario of the multi-year extension, all of those options are on the table right now, and it's even better for the Cowboys because, again, with another $13 million of cap space, they do not have to do anything. Would it behoove them to do something with Dak Prescott's contract? Absolutely. That's definitely the smart thing that they need to do. But they don't have to. They don't have to feel pressured into a corner that they have no option than to give Dak Prescott everything that he wants in negotiation. And any little bit of leverage that you could add in these contract situations, you want to go ahead and exert that when you have the chance. We already see what's happening. They're floating out that it's not as easy as everybody makes it seem. We saw the report on the DMN come out on Thursday and everybody, rolled their eyes. It feels like it's a mouthpiece conversation that's coming from the Joneses, being, vehicled out to the public through the media. But basically with this new news, they do not have to acquiesce to whatever it is that Prescott does. We'll do a lot more videos in the future about the salary cap because that is kind of my forte. We'll dive into it really deeply, but I just wanted to kind of do a quick reaction to this news. Salary cap is set at $255.4 million, and it gives the Cowboys a ton of flexibility, not just with Dak Prescott, but in being able to go out there and chase free agents. It is going to be a wild and woolly, fast and furious start to the league year. Scouting combine is coming soon. Everybody knows the majority of deals are kind of a handshake agreement written in pencil during the scouting combine. All the agents are in Indianapolis. All the front office guys are in Indianapolis. So they start to work through who is going to be available and who has interest in which players. That all kind of gets mapped out in the scouting combine, and then that's why you see as soon as the legal tampering period happens, you start to see these deals announced because they were worked out during the scouting combine. So keep an eye out. Make sure that you're subscribing to this channel if you like this sort of content. This is what I do. Follow me on Twitter at KD Drummond NFL. You know where to find us. Cowboys Wire, USA Today. You know what it is. Salute.